Looks like LR Cellmax is coming to Global Dokkan, and with him comes pity. But should you summon? How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan battle video. In today's video, it is that time again. In about 20 hours from this video, we will have the release of the LR Yellow Coin Cell Max. So in this video, we're going to go answer that age-old question, should you summon? As always, when we try to answer that question, we're going to look at three major things to consider. Number one, the unit itself. Is the unit good enough to hold and carry the summoning banner? As well, we're going to look at what is on his banner. Is there anything on his banner that makes his summon worthy of summoning? And then finally, we'll take a look at what lies ahead. If we decide to summon on this banner, what are we getting instead, right? Is it anything worth our time and or risk of stones, especially knowing that there are really big things on their way to Global Dokkan and JP with the worldwide celebration. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop on in here to the Dokkan wiki here. So shout out to these guys for always posting up the data download. So as you can see here, Cellmax will be releasing at August 20th on 8:30 p.m. HST. So this video is coming out at 2 a.m. HST, so roughly 20 hours from the release of this video. So just keep that in mind. Now, as far as what the unit does, our first category, right? He is an artificial life forms or super bosses category key 4 HP attack and defense 150%, which is pretty standard for yellow coin LRs. On his 18 key, he's greatly raising attack for the turn, causing mega colossal damage and to all enemies, so it is an AoE attack and greatly lowers attack and defense. He's also greatly raising his attack on his 12 key while causing colossal damage to the enemy. So pretty good, right? Raising that attack is going to be really helpful when you realize that he's one of those characters that does a whole bunch of attacks and gets stronger with each one. Now, his passive skill has an entrance animation that can be activated once, only gives him attack defense 100% and guards all attacks, and launches an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super attack for 3 turns from his entry turn when there's another artificial life forms or super bosses category ally on the team upon his entry turn. He also gets key 5 and attack defense 300% and an additional key 1 up to 5 and attack 20% up to 100% with each attack performed. He also has an additional key 1 up to 5 and defense 20% up to 100% with each attack received. He also launches an additional attack that has a 50% chance of becoming a super attack and has an additional defense 250% and reduces damage received by 30% when all allies are artificial life forms, super bosses, or movie bosses category characters. He also has an additional super attack in the same turn after he receives a super attack and gets an additional 250% attack and chance of performing a critical hit 30% when there are no superhero categories allies attacking in the same turn. Not that you would probably ever have that condition up, but it is there. So let's talk about this, right? All of that in of itself seems crazy enough, right? He's a little Broly, but on steroids, but it gets better, right? What really draws you into this guy is his active skill. His active skill will massively raise his attack temporarily for the turn, cause ultimate damage, and raises defense by 999%, and direct us all attacks from him. He's basically invincible for a turn. And this can simply be activated when all allies are artificial life forms or super bosses from the 4th turn from the start of battle, or when all allies are extreme class starting from the 6th turn from the start of battle. So, I mean, to say the least, this guy is absolutely a monster, right? I mean, there are very few characters that can stand up to him on his active skill, on his regular turns for that matter, right? and then add into that his active skill turn. There are very few bosses that can survive that. Add on to the fact that, right, that combined turn, right, there's only 1 or 2 other units who can naturally surpass it without some kind of like silliness and wanking, and it's basically, you know, LR Gogeta and LR Broly for the anniversary. Other than that, most other units, even, I mean, Tech UI comes kind of close if he has like a really good counter turn, but otherwise, you know, for the most part, you're dealing with the same thing here, right? So, I mean, he is insane. We'll leave it at that. So, now the question is, does that mean you should summon? Well, honestly, I would have to say yes, knowing how good he is. I would say that he, as a unit, justifies a summon because he is that good, right? He himself carries any banner that he's placed on. He could be the only SSR character on, well, actually that would be really good, but like if you had a whole banner of SRs and you had a 0.5% chance of pulling this guy, and otherwise it was nothing but SRs, this guy would still be worth a summon. Like, that's how good he is, right? I don't mean to undersell his value. He is basically a must-run for super bosses, and knowing that worldwide seems to be going to focus around movie bosses again, we can easily assume that, right, he's going to be a pretty close to must run on that team as well. So I would definitely say that that justifies a summon, right? So we've got 1 in the category of the summon for the character, but we have to take a look at his banner, right? He doesn't exist alone in this. Now, this was his banner on JP Dokkan. We had the Cell Max, the Int Frieza, Int LR Triku, AGL Hachan, Goku Black, LR Goku Black, 16, and, you know, just a bunch of random sub-EZAs. So, the banner as it stands, basically, besides Cell Max, the only other good unit here is the Golden Frieza. I mean, I guess these guys are, yeah, these 3 are all kind of, it's pretty much just Triku, these 3 that, you know, struggle to find a use right now, right? But these guys all have their places on their teams if you're running those teams right now. Like, if you're running DB Saga, you probably have Hachan on the team, so, but otherwise, these guys, right, movie heroes, you're probably not running Triku unless you're specifically doing some silliness. Goku Black doesn't really fit in on super bosses, even on Rosé's variant of it. So, yeah, I would definitely say that, unfortunately, the banner isn't really all that valuable. So I would have to say no on the banner. I mean, Cell Max, as good as he is, right, I mean, this banner is really, really bad, and I know I do kid when I say, right, he could carry a banner, and I do think that's true. He could carry the banner, but we got to talk about, right, what is coming in our future here, right, because that kind of also really plays into how good this banner is. So seeing everything that's on this banner, we got to take a look at what lies ahead. So first and foremost, let's start with the knowns, right? So we do know that, right, we still have to get the Peppy Gals, right? So, I mean, if you're somebody who needs, like, Cat for a Universe 11 team because you're looking for those missions, right? Mine, not all that necessary, but I mean, she is good. But, right, something to consider. This isn't a necessarily must summon, but it is worthy of consideration that it is coming, right? The big thing I know most people are looking forward to is LR Jiren, right? We don't know when this guy could drop, but summons here on Cell Max could mean summons you can't do later because you're spending them elsewhere. So just be aware that these are 2 banners that are coming in the future that we know exist, but we don't know when. But, of course, it is currently August 20th as of me recording this video, and that means we are 8 days away from the start of the worldwide download celebration, and thanks to the most recent Twitter, we have exact confirmation on who it's going to be, right? If you guys saw it, the Legend strikes on 8/27/2024. This is Broly, right? We are getting movie 8 Broly for part 1 of the worldwide campaign, and, you know, judging by the quotes here, we're also probably getting a Super Saiyan Goku, right? They give me the power to put this guy down for the count. That's Super Saiyan Goku's line from the final bit. So chances are we're getting Goku versus Broly for the first part of the anniversary, or not anniversary, for the worldwide. So that means any summons you do here on Cell Max's banner gonna hurt your stone count for worldwide. And when we talk about that worldwide, like just to show you what I was talking about, right? This was last year's Part 1 Dokkan Fest banner, right? We had the Zamos and the Vegito. These are the Dokkan banners. Some of the best banners in Dokkan history, right? Worldwide banners tend to be pretty good, right? We're gonna have AGL Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Int Buu on one of these banners whenever they end up being. We're gonna have probably the 8-year LRs. Probably gonna the Gohan and Piccolo will probably still make a return. Same with these guys. Hirudegarn and Super Saiyan 3 Goku will also be on this banner as well. So you know, that's worthy of note there. And then, right, we could possibly see maybe Cell and moved off in favor of some other units like Gotenks and Fat Buu, who have already easy aid. So I could definitely see that. I could also see I mean, I could also see them moving these guys off, right? If it's Broly themed, I could see them putting Int Broly on one of the banners. So, I mean, just the main draws, though, are going to be, you know, these guys, the previous worldwide LRs, going to be Gohan, Piccolo, 23ku, and, you know, like the New Year's and this year's Golden Weeks. Those are going to be the main draws of these banners. So, summoning here on this banner, right, you know, you're taking away from those possible stones, especially if you're somebody who skipped a lot of those banners earlier this year because you were saving for the anniversary. So I just want to let you know, right? And again, we also have to consider the carnival banners too, right? Whatever these carnival is. Hard to say aside from the major carnival LRs, like obviously Gohan, Cooler, Bird Coup are all going to be there. You're going to be, in fact, they're going to be pretty similar to the anniversary ones, I would say, except like maybe changing who the specific featured units are. LR Gohan will probably be on here, and probably the U2 trio, and Triku is probably going to be on here somewhere. Cell Max will probably be on the JP version of these carnival banners. Whoever gets that will definitely probably still have Bulma or someone on there, and then maybe like LR Tech Broly, considering he might be getting an easy A. So, I mean, just know that, right? Whatever you put here, or whatever you put in Cell's banner is taken away from those 4 banners here, which is probably where you're going to want to spend the bulk of your next stones until you begin your savings journey for the 10th anniversary. So I did want to make sure that I clarified all that for what lies ahead. So I would have to say, knowing what lies ahead, unfortunately that does mean this banner is a big old fat skip. Now, so that's 1 for the character, and 2 for the banner, and 3 for what lies ahead. So unfortunately, this is one of those few banners that I do have to say is probably a big fat no summon, just because of everything that's coming to head, right? Knowing that we're going full sync after the worldwide celebration, it's not worth it. As good as he is, I don't think it's worth giving up stones you could possibly use on worldwide. So that's my major recommendation. Now, it is worthy of note. We'll pull this up here real quick. Proton 10mg here. So if you guys had seen the data download already, we do have oh, that's the JP one. Where is it? The global one. Here it is. All right, so we have the global data download, so there will be premium tickets. So those are the 30 tickets with a guaranteed featured. Obviously, this is a pity banner, so there will be pity coins, which means, right, every 3 multis is a guaranteed feature. So 2 multis, and then on your 3rd is a guaranteed feature. You do that up to 7 times, and after the 7th, right, if you hadn't gotten him by then, you will have pulled enough to trade in enough. 1, you'll have enough coins, and 2, you'll have enough traded coins to grab the unit with the pity coins if you get to that point. I don't recommend you go to full pity here, but I mean, realistically, if things work out in your favor, you know, it may not be too hard to grab them, right? So I just wanted to throw that out there that, you know, if you're a pay to play, low to play, you know, you could pick them up pretty easily. But most other players, I do think, should steer clear of this banner with worldwide such close proximity to this. So Guys, that is it for the video. That is whether or not you should summon for Cell Max. Again, this is one of the few banners I'm going to recommend a full skip. Unfortunately, just the way it is due to the timing of the arrival of Cell Max. If you guys like this video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let us know. Do you plan on summoning for Maxi Boy here, or are you just going to save for the upcoming LR Broly? Let us know in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha!